pressure, individual oxygen masks will drop automatically from the pump. Worry if the event of landing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Legends Esports. Tonight is our LRS Draft League week number 1, and we've got an exciting lineup for you planned tonight, as it is going to be the Lions taking on the Unicorns in game number 1, followed up by the Tigers facing off against the Vipers tonight. But this is going to be an exciting game number 1 for us, and honestly a caster dream, because there's a couple names in here that are going to be so much fun to cast. But of course, we can't do this cast alone. We cannot do it alone. And tonight on the desk with me, we're going to have none other than God King Karthus, the OG token winner from last season as well too, and a lovely color caster. How are you doing tonight, my dude?
I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself?
I'm psyched. I'm psyched for these teams to play. We've got a great lineup here in our first night, in our first game. I mean, I'm looking at some of these players on the Lions. We've got Vordaddy coming in, former champion from the LAS draft last split, and is now.
Don't remind me.
Still a little bit of salt held to that one, but he's made his way up into LRS now, and you know how good of a player he is. So definitely a name to be watching out for tonight. But in our exhibition games last week, we saw some other talented members starting to make a name for themselves. TES Jackie Love was one of those ADCs who came out on the Samira and was an absolute monster and showed up huge last week. But over on the other end, even though I didn't see a win from this player during that one game that was being streamed, PoE, or Power over Ethernet, was doing a great job in the jungle, and they are going to be there for the Unicorns in this first game. So I'm really excited to see this matchup tonight.
I'm just wondering how much these teams paid for them to get into their exhibitions. Jackie Love and Power over Ethernet, which we just know is Power of Evil in disguise, right?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. We have a Jackie Love tonight on the Lions, and we've got ourselves a PoE over on the Unicorn. So this first game is going to be really fun for us to cast, I think. But right now, we are just waiting for one member of the Lions to just reconnect, having a little bit of client issues right now. No surprise from this client, but you know, we're gonna be patient. So, guys, thank you for your patience as we get this show started for you. But Dream, what else are you thinking or expecting to show up tonight?
Really hoping for some good games. Obviously, last week during the exhibitions, we saw Vordaddy pull out his legendary Volibear, and it started out great, but as the game progressed, he had less and less of an effect the longer the game went, and it was just really unfortunate at the end of the game, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and I'm honestly, I got to keep an eye out on a couple picks here against the Lions. Obviously the volley bear for Vordaddy is something that has been played time and time again. He has shown up pretty massive on that champion, but of course, we just got a glimpse of what Jackie Love can do on Samira, even though I'm sure there was a clip floating around this week of Captain Flowers' take on that champion. Very, very thrilled seeing that champion in your game, but in the right hands, it could become even more scary. I think that's going to be the case possibly here for Jackie Love if he can get his hands on that tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I think people are starting to figure out, especially as we get into the higher elos of play, people are starting to figure out that it's going to be harder and harder to play Samira as the team comps tend to shift more around hard CC and hard engage as well. So we might see less and less Samira as the split goes on.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. You need something that, you know, enables that kind of lunacy to go on in your game. But I agree with you too. The CC teams seems to be a lot more heavy of the focus in these 5-mans. You know, you're looking to synergize with your team, set these plays up. And I mean, if they have room for it, I'm sure they'll look for it. But I think that might be the main focus tonight in getting the team comps synergize with each other. But what the end goal of these teams are going to be for this game, we don't know yet. Gonna have to wait until the champ select until we can kind of give a good estimate on what the play styles are of these teams. I mean, they're brand new. These teams came out Friday, so these guys might be playing with each other for the first time tonight. Hopefully they did get some time to maybe practice or get some duos in, but I'm excited to see, you know, how these teams look in week 1, and then when we come back here week 9 to compare how they look from the start of the split. And this is a lot more of an intimate league here with 6 teams. So it's going to be really awesome getting to know these players, their play styles, and how these teams kind of function once we hit the rift.
Does that mean that all 3 of the teams are gonna, or all 6 of the teams would be going to playoffs, regardless if they're win-loss ratio?
See, with that, I am a little unfamiliar with what the ruling is going to be when it comes to playoffs for this league. I think if I were to give any guess, it might be similar to what we saw with the LRS draft last split. It was, you know, really, really tight with some of those teams, but I believe it was the top 3 teams made it into the playoffs just because of its size. So we'll have to see what the ruling is on that once we get closer to the playoffs, but I'm sure we'll be able to find out within the next week. Hopefully we are able to get this game on the road very, very shortly. Still having issues with the client over here, so hopefully we can get that sorted out very soon, guys. But chat, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your patience in all this. I'm very excited to bring you this first game of the night, and it's going to be really, really a fun time. I'm seeing some familiar faces there in the Twitch chat. We got Beacons, we got Red, and we got Streamlabs. No, Streamlabs is always there. But guys, hope you're having a fantastic night. Hope everybody is staying safe and healthy. Don't forget, if you use our command merch, you can check out our lovely, lovely shop. It's a little bit chilly. Winter is here, so it's in the wash right now, but I've got a lovely Legends hoodie that is just so awesome. And when they come in the mail, I promise you guys, these are super soft on the inside. So go ahead, check out that merch. Shameless plug coming in through the desk here. But it looks like we are just about ready to get into this draft.
I do not have a spec link. Could you send that to me, please?
Absolutely, I can. I'll send it to you over on Discord. Right here, my friend.
Appreciate it.
And I think that's the ready button. So without any further ado, thank you guys for all your patience. We're going to hop on over to the draft and see what the Lions and the Unicorns are going to bust out for this game number 1.
Yeah, there's a lot of new faces on both of these teams. I actually only recognize like 2 or 3 of these people. With JB Shishimi playing on Jet Black last split and LRS pre-made, and Daddy obviously playing an LRS draft in the finals against me.
Yeah, a couple familiar faces here. JB Shishimi also really good with those Enchantress mages as well too. The Nami, the Lulu are kind of her key picks here, so we might see something like that, but who knows what is in store with that bot lane with Jackie Love, how aggressive that player is. Going to be excited to see what they bring out, but ADCs seem to be the hot commodity here, as both Twitch and Kaisa are bound out pretty damn fast from this game.
Yeah, definitely. If you tuned in for the LAS draft, you saw just how quickly those 80 carry players were picked up, so no surprise that 80 carries are getting targeted in their champion pools as well.
Yep, next to go is that Orianna. Do not want to see that, apparently. I mean, she's got lots of great team fight potential. You put that ball onto somebody, there's a good chance you're going to be landing that shockwave. But Renekton is up next, another very strong pick here in this patch that we're currently on. Just an overall strong champion. There's not a whole lot of
wiggle room. He came out of nowhere, honestly. He throughout the entire preseason, I never really saw him being played. I didn't really see him pretty much anywhere. And then all of a sudden on this new patch, he just is in pro play. He's everywhere.
Yeah. And let's take a peek at this. Oh, it's gonna be the Olaf that goes next. So again, another strong player, but guess what gets let through? It's the Volibear. And of course, Vordaddy is going to first pick that on his team because that is one of his key champions that he has. We saw it time and time again in the LAS draft last split. Now he's bringing it into the LRS draft. Very excited to see what he can do with it over here.
Yeah, Unicorns must not be afraid of it, I guess. It's going to be a very interesting matchup going into the game with him on his signature champion there. Looks like the Lulu is going to be locked in for the other side. Is actually pretty good into the Volibear, able to polymorph him before he can actually get into the enemy team.
Yeah, that's a strong pick. Also takes away the Lulu from Shishimi as well too. So that is going to be nice to have in that bot lane. If Vordaddy decides to make his way down there, the polymorph is just essentially a no thanks, no dive today. We're cool, we're fine, we're chilling. But Sejuani next pick up for PoE.
Yeah, and especially yesterday, I saw a lot of Sejuani in my games. But the Sejuani is a pretty strong pick right now. Also, one of those champions that kind of flew under the radar in preseason and picked up strength as the season started. I really like this pick because that combined with the Lulu is a lot of engage and disengage that you can put onto your team just from those 2 picks.
Now let's see what the Lions are going to be picking up next. Something hopefully to go with Vordaddy's Volibear here. They're going to have to be picking very soon, as this timer is, counting up just on the dot there. The Camille will slip on through for Depressed Ear. And the Galio as well too. Potentially could be flex mid or support. But we'll have to see what the final 2 picks here from Lions are, as Ataxin hovering something for the Unicorns right now.
Yeah, Camille Galio is actually something that's been seeing a lot of play in pro play right now. The Camille Galio combo just basically is a free knockup on whoever the Camille ultis. And it's a really strong combo in pro play right now, so I wouldn't be surprised if it goes mid lane. That would make the most sense.
Yeah, and I mean, I like that pop pickup too. But yeah, that just kind of opens up Vordaddy's ability to dive these turrets, right? As soon as he goes in, you get a Galio ult on you, but if the Camille's going to be popping her ult as well too, Galio can roam up towards the top lane. So having those 2 on the map is really going to enable this comp that the Lions are putting together. However, Unicorns are looking like they have more of a disengage. That Poppy will hopefully be stopping that Camille's dives as best as possible. But we know Vordaddy likes to make those early roams. Going to have to keep an eye on that top lane in the early stages of this game.
Yeah, and Poppy's actually one of those few champions where Camille actually has to be careful, because if she tries to hook shot a little too close to Poppy, Poppy can just slam her into the wall that she's walled herself onto. So
That's actually so true. You got to be aware of where you are taking these fights, because you're absolutely right. Camila has to go into the wall to kind of get that volley going and launch herself towards an enemy. So, I mean, if you're Poppy, you just gotta slam her into the wall and she's not going anywhere. That's actually brilliant.
and it's also really good disengaged. You get rid of the if Camille decides to ult somebody on her team, the Poppy can just ult the Camille out of her own ultimate, and they can just walk away from the fight. Once again, another good disengage. And there's the Vayne. I really like that ban along with the Seraphine on the other side. But the Vayne is really good because look at the side of Unicorns. They have the Sejuani and the Poppy. And with the Vayne, and they have Volibear and Galio, with the Vayne, it would be very hard for these two in the mid and jungle to actually get onto the backline when you already have so much disengage. And the Vayne is just a really good ban.
Yeah. We are going to see the Jhin also get taken off the board, another strong pick in this patch as well too. So starting to target that bot lane a little bit more, as it looks like we still have that ADC for Jackie Love still to come. However, Samira is still on the board. That is an option here for Jackie Love. I'm curious to see if they are going to take that, because you did bring up some good points in our pregame talk there. But Tristana also gone off this map, and I am actually really happy about that. I got destroyed by Tristana, but I mean, she's just able to do that in these early games. As soon as she gets her level 2, she drops her bomb on you and jumps onto you. What are you really going to do? What do you do about that?
Cry in a corner.
Exactly. So, yeah, not going to see the Tristana, and for a very good reason. Let's see what these teams are going to round their comps out with as we get into the second half.
I actually have no clue how to say that name. It's a bunch of letters put together into a word. I'm not even gonna try it.
GKP, aka Chio Buns, is the Unicorns ADC. So we'll go with GKP for tonight.
GKP does have the option to pick up the smear here as a takeaway for Jackie Love, but it looks like they're going to go ahead and lock in the Vel'Koz. I actually really like this. If they take away the Vayne, they're just like, fine, we'll just do an AP true damage carry.
That is so true. I mean, that disintegration ray actually hurts way more than one would think, especially once Vel'Koz gets an item or two. That thing will be melting through some of these tankier champions we see over on the Lions.
Yeah, interesting to see what. There's not very many top tier. There's one of those top tier AD carries, the Ezreal, getting locked in.
I really like that.
Yeah, a really safe pick, which also means that Lions may want to have their support not really be in the bot lane, because Ezreal's one of those few champions that can survive a 2v1. I think that JB Shishimi will probably be walking around with Vor Daddy to get some plays off in the mid, maybe even the top lane.
Yeah, we do know Vor to be the one who roams quite a bit, so it wouldn't be too surprising to see. If he's got a support down there that can kind of enable that. I mean, Lulu would have been a really great pick here for that. However, it will be the Yuumi Ezreal locked in for that bot side of the Lions. And let's see what the ADC pick is going to be here for the Unicorns.
Yeah, they were waiting. Not very many top tier AD carries left. You got the Misfortune, you got the Samira, and that's about it, pretty much. Everything else is just a tier below that. Maybe the Ashe. Ashe would be pretty good into this comp, allow for more disengaged. But then you're relying solely on Vel'Koz and Ashe for the damage. You need something that can hyper carry the game, and that's what I'm looking for, because they picked the Lulu, which synergizes very well with hyper carries.
Yep, and that will be the Misfortune lock in here. Very strong pick as well, too. But we'll have to see how this one kind of unfolds here, because both these teams are looking pretty strong here. And I'm excited to see how they're going to fare on the Rift. We will see them lock in their teams on the client in a few moments. But it is a pretty good indication of where these champions are going, who they're going to, based on what we've seen here. But damn, yeah, a couple of strong teams here. God.
Yeah, this is actually going to be a pretty good game. Both teams they've set themselves up. They both want to do similar things. I think Unicorns wants to do a bit more engage/disengage, whereas the side of Lions, they want to go full engage with the Ezreal dancing around the edges and poking from behind. The Unicorns want to do the same thing, except instead of the Ezreal, it's the Vel'Koz that wants to stay in the back line and poke from afar.
Yeah, and we'll start to see these teams lock in here on the client. We're almost ready to go, guys, but this is it's going to be an exciting one. First game, first week of the LRS draft. This is where teams start to make a name for themselves. This is where we get to see all that spiciness start. This is the night where it happens. So very, very excited to see these two teams face off. Very, very excited to cast teams containing Jackie Love and a PoE. But it's going to come down to how they kind of play. I think the big part is going to come down to this early game, to be completely honest. Vordaddy is an absolute monster coming when it comes to his roams. So I really hope that he can enable his teammates to really get the ball rolling. But there is a lot of powerful counterplay here that he has to deal with.
Yeah, definitely. He needs to be very careful not to run into the wrong champions at the wrong time, because if this Volibear runs into Sejuani's jungle and his teams don't have prio, he could just straight up die to the Sejuani CC and anybody that decides to follow up on it. On the other side, Sejuani is also extremely vulnerable to getting invaded, because Sejuani should never win a 1v1 against the Volibear either. So both teams need to be very careful. I expect maybe just some standard jungle pathing this game, whereas the lanes are probably evenly matched. I don't believe the Misfortune and Lulu are ever going to have kill pressure on the Ezreal Yuumi. The Poppy and the Camille, I don't think either of them are ever going to kill each other, especially if the Camille goes Grasp. And the Galio and Vel'Koz, that one is probably Vel'Koz's favorite, just because of the extreme range he has on him, and the true damage kind of just ignores the anti-magic tank built into Galio's kit.
Yeah, this is a lot of good answers, honestly, here from Unicorns. Like, it's a strong squad that the Lions have drafted, but this is a lot of good answers coming from the Unicorns to really kind of stop them in the tracks and do their best to prevent these ganks that they know are going to be coming. If you played against Vordaddy or you've seen him play, I mean, that's his general kind of style, is to get his team rolling. But yeah, very excited to see the Unicorns, what they're going to do, because they have a lot of good answers here for what Lions have put on the board.
Yeah, definitely. And something that the Unicorns should know is, if this Galio builds primarily tank, they are going to be lacking a large amount of AP damage. You'll get damage. You have the hybrid damage from the Ezreal, and then you have the full AD damage from the Camille, which are your two carries. But Ezreal is still an AD carry. He's going to be building AD items. Regardless if he's still doing AP damage, there's not much threat of AP damage if the Galio doesn't go a burst.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of this will come down to the builds as well too. But honestly, there's a lot of factors that we're looking at in this first game already. While we think a little bit more about that, I am going to open up predictions. So guys, you can start placing your bets on who you think is going to win this first game. Just use command play LNS or UNC to vote on which team you think is going to win. But it's going to be an exciting one for sure. We get to see a couple return faces as well too. But like you said at the beginning as well, a lot of new members that have joined this league now, and we get to see them really for the first time in an official match here. I'm really excited to see what these guys can do. But only 3 minutes to go on our end here, and then we'll be hopping on to the Rift. God King, who do you think is going to take this win in game number 1?
Al, if you go ahead and look over to the Twitch chat, you'll see who I have placed my bet in. It is the Lions. I just can't get past the Vordaddy carry there, despite him falling in the exhibition match. It's still Vordaddy on Volibear, and I think that the other teams are not prepared for it just yet.
Yeah, this is like I said, where players kind of make their name and make themselves known. We saw Vordaddy do that with his Volibear last split, and I think I might give the favor over to the Lions for that reason. That champion somehow made it into this guy's hands again. But really, only time will tell. How these players kind of make their way through the early game is going to be a big factor here. If they're able to stop Vordaddy and stop his ganks, that is going to put a huge hindrance on this Lions squad. That's really, I think, what's going to be getting this ball rolling. However, as the game goes on, you're going to have lots of damage coming out of that Ezreal and a lot of lockdown potential from Vor, Galio, and Camille. So, curious to see how this one is going to play itself out. But, I mean, the Sejuani ult, the Poppy ult, the Misfortune Lulu ult as well too. Massive AoE. Great for disengage as well too, and great for just turning things around on their head. So, yeah, a lot of factors here, God King.
Yeah, definitely, and they need to be, the side of Lions need to be very wary of the damage that Vel'Koz can put out, especially after 6 is around these neutral objectives. If they try to go for Dragon and they're trying to go for it unprepared, and the side of Unicorns have vision of it, Vel'Koz can just ult the entire team in the pit, and suddenly you're at an extreme disadvantage because you've lost half of your HP from true damage.
That true damage, especially right now, that's why we saw all those ADCs who prioritize Kraken Slayers. They're off the map right now. That Vayne, the Tristana are extremely terrifying when you start getting that true damage out every third shot. I mean, even Vayne too with that item. Now that I put 2 and 2 together, that's actually disgusting. So I back you up on that ban 100% to make sure that we never see a Vayne on here up until maybe playoffs. We'll see a Vayne. There's been a couple that pops out, but only 20 more seconds, guys. So we are going to be going to a quick break. Make sure to put your tokens on which team you think is going to win. Just use command play LNS for the Lions or command play UNC for the Unicorns. Guys, we will see you back here in a few seconds on the Rift with these teams for our first game of the LRS draft. See you soon.
I saw you smile from across the bar. Yeah, she was pretty and so close but so far. She flipped her hair and I thought this can't be true. How does a man like me get someone like you? And then she looked at me and I was confused. Everyone here can't be the one that she'll choose. And I looked back and saw the spark in her eyes. This can't be real, my head's telling me lies.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to week 1 of the LRS draft. We are about to get this game underway. Lions on the blue side, Unicorns on the red. And this, Dream and I were having a little conversation during the break there as, you know, how on paper these comps look pretty well matched up. But that's what makes this game so spicy, because it's going to come down to these players and how they work as a team. So very exciting stuff. Just a reminder, 30 more seconds for those predictions, and they're going to be closing very soon. But yeah, excited to see what this game has in store for us.
Yeah, and looks like we have a little bit of a defensive position from the side of Lions. They don't want to be fully invaded, so they're kind of just hanging back. The side of Unicorns don't really have very much in the way of engaging a 5v5. If they do invade, they have the Lulu that can slow them, but other than that, they really don't have anything besides the Sejuani charging in, honestly. A bit strange for such a defensive position against a team that doesn't have very many level 1 threats.
Yep, always just playing it safe in the early game, I think, unless you have something crazy level 1 comp. Both the teams look to be set up more for a safe laning phase and a solid team fight once we get to that point in the game. But really, that's where we usually see them happen around dragons. We see these big fights kind of breaking out is around objectives. So we'll see what jungler or what team is focusing those more. But it's really going to come down to that, is where these fights are going to be breaking out.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the runes. Anything that surprises you a little bit? I don't see any, actually, myself.
Yeah, pretty standard stuff across the board here for really everybody. Nothing too crazy here in our first game, and that's why, you know, that kind of contributes to that fact where everyone's just set themselves up here for a nice, easy peasy laning phase. We're gonna farm, we're gonna chill for a little bit. We're not gonna do anything too crazy until Vor decides to show up to one of our lanes, which I think might be the case here, but we do see some poking going down in this bot lane. That's gonna force this Misfortune Lulu off of the wave, so nice to see this aggressiveness coming out immediately from Jackie Love.
Yeah, they hit the level 2 first. Now they zone them off all the experience, which just delays the level 2 from the side of Unicorns even a little bit longer, and the geometry plays coming in mid lane as well, which is pretty nice to see.
Yep, Taxon doing a great job getting some pokes off on this Galio, but he is very, very tanky, like you're mentioning. However, we might see something actually going down in this mid lane very, very shortly as PoE is coming around here onto Obalata. There he goes and actually finds a Sejuani over this wall. Gonna try for that taunt, but the CC is down. That's gonna lock him in. The knockup's there as well too. The true damage is coming, but so is Vordaddy with the flash to lockdown as well. That Vel'Koz Q is not gonna be enough to save his teammate as Vordaddy picks himself up first blood.
Oh, it was going so right for the side of Lion, or for the side of Unicorns there, but they guess they just didn't expect the Volibear there so quickly, and both the junglers expending their flashes there, no summoners burned on the side of, or on the mid laners for either of them, and now the Galio has pretty much full prio in this lane to push the Vel'Koz in, because the Sejuani has to go back to lane and no longer has any. Thought there was going to be an actual fight there.
Oh yeah, I was kind of holding my breath for that one, but no, this is where we see the big Vordaddy coming out on his main champion as well. He's, and that pathing was, I kind of saw him at blue there for a second, and then 30 seconds later he was over at the enemy red. So he was just in the right place at the right time right there to make sure he could come down and collapse on that little trade, turn that into a 2v2. But now he's got that 300 gold in his pocket, and we were talking about how dangerous it is to have Vor ahead. However, this top lane might be seeing PoE in a few moments here.
Yeah, and Vordaddy also gets pretty much, or gets the Gromp from the blue side, it looks like, or he's just putting down a ward, actually. But this actually puts him extremely far ahead, because that did set the double buffs that Vordaddy had already picked up. So he's going to have those double buffs just quite a bit longer now, because of that, which allows him to impact the map and stay out on the map a bit longer, so he can get those items he needs.
Just watching some nice trading come in from Depress's here, but a couple of big waves pushing on this top and bottom side of the Lions turrets, but we do see an Infertile on this map. I'm curious to see who is going for it first, because Vordaddy just got his first back off. He's already got himself a Bammy Cinder here. So I don't know if Sejuani is going to want to look to trade for this one, or just let Vor go ahead and take the first drag of the game.
Yeah, we did see some pings from the side of Unicorns pinging that Infernal Drink, thinking maybe the Volibear was on it, but the Lulu did go and check, and he was not. Volibear seems to be heading that way right now. Perhaps he can easily just use the Blast Cone to get over the wall and start it. The Sejuani is just passing through mid lane, so Sejuani would be able to see it if they came down into the river. Vordaddy is going to head to his Krugs dead.
Yeah, and that's where we see the double control wards, one from the Unicorns, one from the Lions here on this Dragon, but that's why Obalata is coming down here. Obatala, I mixed those up for a second, but he's going to get chased off very fast. Vel'Koz is here to follow up, but the little sidestep around that knockup is not going to get him caught. But look at this. 4 members of the Unicorns now surrounding this Infernal Dragon. They clear out that vision in the pit, and they're going to look to try and take this first Infernal of the game, not without Jackie Love and Shishimi here to do a little bit of harassing. Vordaddy is on the backside of this one. This Dragon's getting low, and it was actually stolen by Vordaddy. Excuse me, as Galio ult is popped. That's going to be the Unicorns having to turn tail and run away, but look at this beautiful taunt coming out from Obatala. That's a double kill here for Jackie Love as Elena Potato is going to be trying to get out, has to use the flash. I didn't even see Vordaddy go over that wall. As
He didn't. He actually stole it with his W.
That
The Call of the Storm.
was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. So I wasn't missing anything. I'm like, he didn't go over the wall, right? Beautiful little steal there.
A missmite from Power Ethernet, and the last tick of damage went to the Storm Call, or I can't remember what his W is called. His E rather, the Sky Splitter is the thing that actually took it over the wall.
And what's ridiculous to me too is that Jackie Love was able to pick up 2 kills off of that as well. So that extra 600 gold in the pocket of Ezreal is going to be a huge help. However, up top here, we do see Depressed Zero getting jumped on, but that's going to be the Camille ult immediately, followed by a teleport from Obatala up here as well too. Nice little taunt as well. Knock him up. Get that damage down as the Aftershock is popped, trying to give it over to Depressed Zero, but Obatala will clean up Stone Kit Kat in the top lane.
Yeah, and this is now starting to already spiral out of control. 7 minutes in, we're at about a 3,000 gold lead, getting close to it right there. 2.6k actually. But you're already seeing the Vordaddy has accelerated his lead, and the moment he goes back, he's sitting on a little over 1,000 gold there. The Ezreal has just gotten back, so he's going to get a pretty big buy there. Picking up the Warhammer, and he still has 800 gold there. Picking up the Lucidity boots and a longsword as well.
Yeah, he's setting himself up real nice. Exactly what you would expect to see out of Vordaddy here, but really making himself known in our first game of this league. But yeah, you were saying that we were just taking a peek at the gold difference here and where that gold is kind of allocated. Vor is almost 1,000 up on his enemy jungler, and right now Jackie Love is about 700 gold up on GKP. So the gold is on who you really want it to be right now, especially the two seemingly most aggressive players here on the Lions.
Yeah, unfortunately the Depressed Azir didn't get that kill onto the Poppy. One of the main carries for this Lions roster here. It did go to the Galio, which is going to make him a bit harder for the Vel'Koz to actually deal with here.
Yeah, a little bit of trading up in that top lane and mid once more. Just a little bit of chip damage going from side to side here, as Vor actually is going to be starting up this Rift Herald. Just under 10 minutes, and Obatala here to rotate and help as well. Let's see where they're going to use this, as all lanes currently still have their plates, but maybe expecting something to show up in the mid lane and open up this map here, as I think PoE might have the same idea. It's kind of rotating over on the red side, but there's not too much to take other than these Krugs.
Yeah, I don't think the side of Unicorns even know that Vordaddy was on the Rift Herald until it went down. And now he's just going to head topside and probably try to get this Camille a bit ahead. You see the Galio's already roaming up there as well. We might see a dive.
Yeah, and this is the thing. Vordaddy stepped on a ward, so your question has to be, as the Lions, where the hell is Power over Ethernet? There he is. That's going to be the Bolt of a Cleanse up immediately there, as JB Shishimi is hopping on and off of Jackie Love to keep him alive. That will be the bullet time, but up in the top lane, we got another fight breaking out as well, too. Elated Potato almost getting taken out. Ooh, is extremely low. Jackie Love isn't quite done yet. That's a nice little shield to keep this Lulu alive. And up in the top side, though, we did see Depressed Azir popping off the ult. He had a little bit of action there, but no trades exchanged through both of those fights.
Yeah, what ended up happening, Camille using the Hextech ultimatum on there, and the Poppy ulting the Volibear out of the fight entirely, meaning the Camille had to disengage.
Yeah, we do see some more trading in this mid lane. Obatala getting a little bit of a taunt, trying to dodge these Qs, as Herald now spawning in the top lane. That's going to be some nice plate gold going on over to Vordaddy and Depressed Azir. However, Stone Kit Kat is there to take out Shelly, and we do have PoE kind of lurking around this top side of the map, so these members are going to back off. We do see attacks and also popping his Disintegration Ray, but Obatala will live for now. So we get to take a breath for a couple seconds. However, there's an Ocean Drake up in like less than 5 seconds, so just get as much oxygen as you can now, Jeem.
With the Fire and Ocean Dragons, I believe that is going to be a Cloud Soul. Me and Overcomer actually have a system set up where we can predict what the soul is going to be depending on the first 2 dragons. We usually get it right. For example, if it is a Cloud first and Ocean second, that means it is going to be a Mountain Soul.
Huh. I'm curious to see if this prediction is right. If it will be that Cloud Soul coming out, which I think either team would really benefit, but especially having the Galio and the Ezreal with that ult cooldown will be so important coming to these team fights. But we'll have to see, as Vordaddy is currently starting up this Ocean right now. And PoE is not too far off, currently taking his blue, but I don't think they know, as that ward hasn't been touched quite yet.
No, I actually don't think they can approach it, honestly. It is going to be Mountain. I was wrong this time.
Alright, we got to recheck that chart here.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Mountain Drake on the map too. Definitely not a bad choice for either of these teams to get a little bit more tankiness here. But here we have the trade going back and forth between these top laners. Stone Kit Kat blocking that first dive, but Depressed here getting a little low. That Pauldron will be stepped on to make sure Poppy doesn't get that extra shield. But seems to be it for now. No, I lied, because Depressed is going back in to the wall. Knocked up by this Poppy with the ult. And see the TP coming out as well, too. One more auto will do it, but that's a Camille ulti. Oh, my goodness. Depressed just barely making it out. Disintegration Ray from a Taxon. Just going to be a little short. It was a nice attempt, but that Camille is very slippery to catch.
Yeah, and that was the teleport and flash expended by the Vel'Koz there, which means that Volibear gets to probably take a gander towards the mid lane at some point in time, and this extremely vulnerable Vel'Koz is not going to have a very fun time trying to get away from both the Galio and the Volibear.
But right now,
Volibear coming down.
Yeah, Volley and Vora is in this bot lane, looking to go into a later potato, but that will be the bullet time coming here from GKP. Does manage to scare them off just for a little bit, but again, no kills exchange off this. We just had the first few kills in the game, and now we've kind of had a big window here where we've seen both teams trying to set stuff up, and actually I think they're going to go for it as Volley will pop the ult. Galio coming with the heroic entrance as well too to pick off this misfortune. I speak too soon as Lions line themselves up for a wonderful little tower dive there. Combo between Vordaddy and Obatala.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as the Volibear said that, or showed that he was going to stay, I just kind of expected the dive to come down. I saw the Galio heading down as well, and that means it's 6 kills to nothing with the first turret down, and we're looking at about a 5-6k gold lead at 15 minutes.
But we were expecting that too, to pair up the Volibear tower dives with the Galio ult. We knew that was going to be something that's coming. However, PoE is currently coming up to this top lane, so Depressed is going to have to get out. However, here comes a TP as well from the Galio, and PoE will just simply back off. Does not want to deal with this Lion squad that just seems to be getting stronger and stronger by the minute.
Yeah, the Poppy is having a bit of issues now. Like the previous trades are very even, but now that the Camille has the Divine Sunderer finished, it's a lot harder for the Poppy to actually survive these trades now.
Yeah, we see a little bit of a dance back and forth here under this top lane turret, but it is going to be going down very shortly. Depressed is taken out. One more auto on the turret. Will clean out. The bullet comes down, but Vordaddy is here to help out as well, too. He's going to get Poppy ulted out of there, leaving Obatala by himself. However, the rest of the members of the Lions seem to be showing up. JB Shishimi is here onto Obatala, gives a little bit of a heal, and the rest of the Unicorns will back on off of this. Do not want to take another one, but they do get their first kill of the game.
Yeah, not going to be a perfect game for the side of Lions.
But
no more fighting going on there. You can't slow a Sejuani. Sorry, Yumi.
Yep, we are still seeing this dance in the jungle as the Yumi ult will come out. Locks down PoE. He does get Lulu ulted up to stay alive, but this fight is not done yet. The TP coming in. JB Shishimi will pick up the kill onto PoE as Jackie Love is rounding this corner. Thankfully, a control ward will come up, but look at the control over the top side of the jungle the Lions have here.
Yeah, and this is starting to get worse and worse.
Oh no, attacks and caught out over the wall. The rest of the Lions are just waiting for him on the other side, and he's just blown up.
Well, yeah, and that ward that's literally right there over the wall, so I'm coming a bit of a dangerous spot to be walking through, especially when you know the entire enemy team is walking through your jungle right now.
Just take a look at the vision that the Lions have up in this top side of the map. I mean, this is just absolutely amazing to see. And a lot of this warding, you know, coming from all these members of the team, but especially JB Shishimi. 20 ward score so far in this game. So really amazing.
Yeah, and it's a 5 ward score from the Lulu there. Hasn't even finished the support item yet.
Yeah,
it looks like the Yumi has, but the Lulu is getting close, is almost there, but we're at almost 20 minutes into the game and still hasn't finished the support item. It's really hurting the amount of vision that the side of Unicorns can actually bring out there.
And I personally have been in the position of both these supports at this point in time, being the one without your upgrade on your support item and not even having your keystone or your mythic item yet. So this is a tough spot for the Unicorns right now because they can't get back that control. They don't have the power to take back the control, but on top of that, they don't have really the capability to ward out these jungles. So this is risky wherever they go. They need to really be careful whenever they step into the jungle. But look at this, PoE and Stone Kit Kat currently on this Herald as the Lions go ahead and put themselves to Soul Point.
Yeah, and they're trying to get this done as quickly as possible. The Ezreal is there, but he's not going to be able to get it. They're just going to get out without burning much of anything. The Ezreal is chasing. Gets the Poppy to about half HP there.
Oh, that was a nice W from Stone Kit Kat. Just had a feeling. Had one of those feelings that there was a Camille rotating up as well, too. So nicely done to make sure that didn't turn into anything worse.
Yeah, and on the side of, let's go ahead and take a look at these items and the gold here really quick. On the side of Lions, the Ezreal has already finished his Muramana, fully stacked and ready to go. The Misfortune still trying to stack up that Manamune there. And the Volibear, he has his Sunfire Aegis, and looks like he has the Winged Moonplate as well. Looks like he's going for a bit of hybrid stats. I believe that the Winged Moonplate builds in something with both
boy.
the...
Final chapter is out and Bordaddy is here, but following up, Jackie Love comes out from the back with his E and picks up the kill onto Taxon. You cannot step up on these Lions right now. They're just far too strong.
Yeah, and I mean, you shouldn't be stepping up there anyway. Look, your jungle and top lane are on the bottom side of the map. Poppy does not have TP, cannot actually do it. Looks like they're going to try and go for a hard push on the bot side.
Yeah.
But how much are they going to lose for it? They've already lost 2 turrets, and they're pushing onto inhibitor turrets now for a tier 3 turret.
I was just going to say, at what cost for this bot outer tier turret? Because you just lost your mid-inner and currently have minions on your top inhibitor turret. So this one kind of getting a little out of control for the Unicorns as Lions are closing in at this point.
Yeah, and they're about to hit a 10,000 gold lead before the 20-minute mark.
Wow.
It's at this point, I believe one of the casters said it in LCS that if there is a team where the difference is at least 500 gold per player, the game's pretty much or not 500 gold, but 500 gold per minute. Difference between the teams, the game's pretty much over. It's unwinnable at that point.
And I mean, I have seen miracle comebacks before, but the Lions are playing this super clean right now. They're rotating as a squad and really just, you know, playing this vision game as we'd like to see these teams doing, like really making it known. It's not just your support going off and warding, it's a whole few members, you know, at least 2 or 3 people going through, clearing out the wards, getting that vision. That's where we see these teams that, you know, do a lot of the winning coming through on their wins because they just have that information. Information is power. It really is.
Yeah, and we're about to hit the 21-minute mark. As looks like we got a little bit of fight. This Camille's out of position pretty
Yeah,
hard.
Disintegration Ray is coming through on Depressed Azir, but so are the rest of the members of the Unicorns. They will pick up that kill onto Depressed Azir. All 5 members up here are kind of just taking what they can get, and of course, free Camille there, kind of caught out in the jungle, thinking that she could take the Poppy, but the rest of the numbers are just waiting there. Unicorns starting to get a little bit more control back of their jungle.
Yeah, and just from, like, Camille right now, despite the fact that the hasn't really gone in that way, that was the weakest member of their team, and it still took quite a bit of time for them to actually kill it, as we got another engagement here on the top side.
Yep, Stone Kit Kat will get rid of the Galio. However, he's just going to ulti back in as Vordaddy is coming on, bringing the pain. Stone Kitty Cat actually going to use the Krug to dash on out of that. Very smart use of the environment. However, attacks and caught out once more. Not a lot of mobility on that Valkaz. Going to have to keep distance. And one little step out of place, the Lions are going to pounce on you, and that's exactly what happens up there.
And this is going to be a 22-minute Baron. They're going to start it. The Sejuani can't contest. Down a level, and this should be free, and they can easily just go straight to the dragon after that, which will spawn in about 30 seconds. This is starting to slip out of the grasp of the unicorns now.
Let's see, some members are turning here to turn on to Stone Kit Kat. Is Jackie Love going to pick himself up another kill this game? But still 3 members of the unicorns behind this Baron pit, looking to potentially come on over. But look at the harass. Jackie Love is sending out power over Ethernet, going on over the wall. But that's a big final chapter. Double kill for Jackie Love, as the members of the Lions are just going to sweep across the backside of the pit and eliminate these members of the unicorns as they pick up the Baron. My goodness.
Yeah, and I mean, either they pulled the trigger and tried to fight there, or Ezreal was just going to poke them down. And now all that stands in the way of them in victory is a single Vel'Koz, this Mountain Drake, and whatever fight left the Unicorns have in them.
This is honestly just so clean coming from the Lions. They set themselves up in the early game. They don't play over aggressive, but they punish those just tiny little mistakes. And even though there were mistakes that you could come back, a buildup of all those little things, and the Lions pushing those advantages have just snowballed out of control at this point. I don't know if there's anything that you can really do as a team stacked up against something like this. Soul Point, Baron, just a massive gold lead at this point. It's a really tough one to come back from.
Yeah, and here we are at the 23-minute mark, and Lulu has just finished her support item.
I've been there. I know it. It is. It does not feel very good when it's like, guys, I'm sorry, I'm trying so hard. But that's, you know, that early harass that we saw from Jackie Love and Shishimi. That was what stopped Elated Potato from even getting those stacks up and stacking that Frost Fang. So, yeah, that was really well played in the early game from that bot lane of the Lions to really set behind Elated Potato and GKP.
Yeah, I'm a little worried here with what the Lions are planning to do right now, because their Baron time's running out here, and they still haven't pushed much of anything. They don't have much left to push. They're finally getting onto this bottom inner tower here, but now they only have about a minute left. I don't think they care, though. They could probably end the game with or without Baron at this point.
Yep, still another minute 10 left on that Baron buff, but they're gonna get so much for it. A bot inner will go as well too. Looks like the bot inhib is the next target, as Obatala over on the mid lane still keeping that harass up, still getting those buffed up minions in to push. So this is just surgical at this point from the Lions.
Am I the only one that just...
Big Bola actually coming out. We are going to see a big fight as a heroic entrance on the back end from Obatala. Big bullet time here from GKP will take out Tashimi. However, Jackie Love is now going legendary. A double kill for him as he takes out the Poppy. The turret will fall, but Jackie Love is not done yet. He's looking to pick up a kill onto JKP. However, that one goes on over to Depress Azir. And with 4 members of the Lions still left with their Baron buff pushing on this bottom inhibitor, they might just look to end here.
Yeah, they have the Baron empowered minions for another 20 seconds. The only thing standing in their way is a Lulu.
Only thing left, but I mean, at this point, the Lions just looking so strong this game. They play it out super clean, and there's not much to be done here as the last efforts from the Unicorns. They will try and save the Nexus, but it doesn't matter at this point because the Lions will take our first win of the night over the Unicorns.
Oh wow, that was just complete domination from the first 5 minutes of the game all the way to the very end. They're just 3 kills to 18. We end with a 9-0 Ezreal, a 2-0 Galio, 2-0 Volibear, 4-2. The weakest member that I was talking about earlier ended 4-2 after starting the game 1-2.
Yeah, that was just so damn clean coming out of this Lion squad. I mean, at every point of the game, they were just on point, making rotations extremely well together. So I think we got to sum this up to just solid communication coming out of the Lions. They were everywhere they needed to be. And even in the moments where, in that early game where we saw Vordaddy in the enemy's red, just being on top of that, being there for the rotations and the counter ganks. So just overall, just extremely well done from the Lions here.
Yeah, I just didn't see a way in. Like, on paper, these team comps are very even, but once the game started and that early fight in mid lane just didn't go their way, it just seemed to snowball from there, and there was no turning back from it. It just got worse and worse as the game progressed. They got a few picks here and there, but it just seemed like the side of Unicorns weren't on the same page the entire time.
And that's okay, because it is week 1, right? So
they've had 3 days of practice.
Yeah, there is still so much room for growth for these teams, and that's what's exciting about watching, from week 1 all the way up until playoffs, is seeing how these teams grow, how they improve their synergy as a full squad. So nothing to feel too bad about in this first week, but it is amazing to see this Lions squad in this kind of form already. But Dream, any last comments before we take it to a break?
Yeah, apparently it was the rest of Twitch chat believed me and said that the team comps looked evenly matched because it was a 50-50 on who was going to win the game.
Yep, 50-50 on those predictions, but it is the Lions going home with the win. So whoever put their tokens onto the Lions, you can now check your tokens, see if those went back. They should be distributed properly now. However, we are going to take a quick break, guys. So while we are gone, there is currently a poll running right now for player of the game. So you can use command vote and whatever the position of the player to you want as your player of the game. But that was some really incredible stuff coming out of the Lions. Let us know who you think deserves that player of the game vote, as that is currently running right now. And we will be back in a few short minutes. So guys, you are not going to want to miss this because we got another great game coming up for you very, very shortly. See you soon.
Shut up. Hey. Hey. Yeah. Hey. Hey. Mind the reflection test about exit, you might end up in a mess. Tell a man you are not like me, you ain't deep in the deep. No plus 20 pounds and you're weak in the knees. On, man better be careful of me, I ain't just another MC. I'll spin your clock 360 degrees, flat line on set. Melody that you see. They don't like me, cause they ain't like me. They wanna like me, but I don't give two shit, so by the MC. Man wanna rally me with no license. Man can't clash with this Titan. You don't want your face on my mind when I'm writing. Man can't fly in this climate. I'm too cold, you're dying in this climate. No heart in the chest, cause you're already dead. I got no manners, I send man to rest. I'm letting us show through a copper and lead. Some fingers in head, cheese and bread. Straight out of pocket, I just get living at EWS, EX. Man wanna know to get me vexed, but a nice right easy. Don't think that you're exempt. Hey.
Let's get to work.
Try violate X, that's war. Should've fought twice down at your front door like boom. It's staircase, black cloud, balaclava, no face, no case, no charges. Man better keep it a bossing. Short hair, still get a party. Mike and all might get clotted. Think it's a joke, trust me, man, and not Martin. It's X, it's on. Man, I get shook like bubbly. 3D MC, we the boys inside Dudley. Trust me, man, I get something like Buddy. Excellent art, we're straight cruddy. If you don't know, learn and study. I'm a fully grown pit for these puppies. This ain't no wolf pack, we're marking. Hey, yeah, hey.
Hello, 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 and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the LRS Draft Week 1. We had a very exciting game in our first one, and that was the Lions taking on the Unicorns. But you guys voted, and your player of the game is none other than the big Vordaddy on the Volley Bear himself, going 2-0-9 in that game and really getting the ball rolling for his team as we know him to do. That was just incredible stuff from all the members of the Lions, but both teams, GG's, well played. I'm very excited to see how these teams evolve over the duration of this split. So, without any further ado, we are going to be getting into game number 2 of the night, and that is Tigers versus Vipers. We are just waiting on a couple players here to hop into the lobby. We're going to be getting ourselves a Pentaque ready to go, but Dream, looking forward to this this game because we've got some returning faces coming to this one.
Yeah, there's quite a few more names that I recognize in this, including Rovari, Juanito Sol, Pratoga. I'm pretty sure I've seen Darwin Theory a few times. I can't remember where, but I do remember the name Darwin Theory.
Darwin did actually make it onto stream, I believe, for one of the nights. But I'm having a tough time recalling. This is why I'm currently, as we're in breaks and stuff like that, I'm making notes. I'm being a good boy. I'm making my notes this time, so I can go back and recall that. But yes, excited to see some of these new players on the Rift here. But a recall to a few people we know already. You heard the name Roverai, I believe. He likes to be called. Is big top laner from the championship team of the LAS Pre-Made League from the Tigers V 2.0. So big top laner coming through here as well too. Loves to play aggressive, loves to put on a show for us, and really make that name known. So I'm excited to see him pulling off some crazy stuff for us in the top lane. But in that bot side, we have Juanito Sol, one of our big Jhin players, and Pratoga, who is known for his Thresh. So I'm really excited to see these two players and that synergy that they're going to be bringing to this team, because these are both veteran players. I want to say they have played together on the Dragons, one of our other championship teams as well too. So we got some big names here tonight.
On this sheet here, or on their Pentaque link here, it says we're watching Spartans versus Vipers. A little confused here.
No. On the Pentaque, yes, it does say that, but it is going to be the Tigers versus the Vipers. So I got the right graphics. There it is, the Tiger squad, but I think they just put Spartans there instead. But unless they change.
I'm guessing
teams.
the Vipers played the Spartans game 1 and they just decided not to change it.
That could also be the reason as well too. But we are about to see this pick and ban start. So guys, we're going to head on over there, get that draft music started for you, and let's see what these teams have to bring out in our first game here tonight.
Oh, let's hope for a spicy game, right?
Oh, always the spiciest games here at Legends. But this bot lane, I'm excited to see from the Vipers, because we know these two players very, very well. They've been around for multiple splits at this point. So I'm excited to see if they just go for those two comfort picks and pick up the Thresh and Jhin immediately. But all this unknown, right? All these players that we don't know yet. I'm excited to see all this new talent that's coming onto the Rift. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah, definitely. Looks like the draft is starting now.
Yeah. The Annie ban first, so that might be a little bit directed to one of these newer players.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Pursuit of Death during the draft that played Annie into the Yone last week in the exhibition matches and absolutely destroyed him.
That's a really good Annie player can be actually terrifying. No bush feels safe to go forward. So again, that's what we were talking about that last game, going in numbers, right, to go get that vision.
Yeah, I may or may not have a 100% win rate on Annie in my solo queue games right now, on 6 wins so far. So,
I see. Well, clearly a strong pick, as we're waiting on a Viper's ban here. The clock is ticking a little bit too far. That I think that might be a warning for the Vipers squad here. They're gonna have to get something banned Very.
And actually, I do believe they changed it to 40 seconds this split instead of 45. I have to ask Fliptrick to confirm, but I'm pretty sure they did change it this split. So,
So, reminder to captains and teams that you have to be paying attention to that draft time, as the Tigers waste no time. I'm gonna have to watch my Streamlabs because that Spartan is goofing me. The Jin taken away from Juanito Sol. Clearly, Tigers have done their homework. They know what they're going into. Do not want to see Juanito Sol on this Jin.
no, and I probably wouldn't want either. Jen is a terrifying champion, and in the hands of somebody that is extremely good with them, it's a doomed game from the get-go if you let them get their hands on it, like when Board Daddy gets his Volibear.
Exactly. But that's kind of fun watching these players who make a name for themselves on their made champs, right? We've got the Volibear from Vordaddy, the Hecker, no, not the Hecker. Sorry, I just saw that because it was banned. Like the Darius from Hero 39 is another one of the names that just ring a bell to me. So, wondering if
Or
any
the
other.
Karthus from me.
The Karthus. Yeah, you did have a big Karthus game the other night. Ugh. And I have to play against you in a day? Oh my gosh. But tonight the focus is on these two teams. You guys will have to wait for that face-off another time. As
Yeah, we're friends tonight, enemies tomorrow.
I got a good laugh out of that when you sent me that. But Camille also going to be sitting on the bench for this game. We saw her in the last game on Depressed Azir, and even though the early game was a little rough, made their way back into it, ended 4-2. So there's still that comeback potential for Camille as the game rolls on, but Tigers don't want to see it at all.
Yeah, and the Vipers, they're banning a bunch of junglers here. It's making me reminisce about a certain player in LRS draft in pre-made that was a jungler.
Is it?
I think you know exactly who I'm talking about.
Is it the god Lunar Effect himself?
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, he is scary on that Hecarim, but I mean, also a really strong champion right now, that Hecarim. Speaking of strong champions, Kaisa gonna be the first lock-in here for the Tigers. Gonna be, I'm gonna say for the ADC, Caramel. Not really anywhere else to go. However, that is a just extremely strong ADC right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the top ADC in the game right now. The only ones that come close to it are the Jin, which is banned, the Misfortune, which did not have a great performance in the last game, and I believe also the Samira. Other than that, there's really not many other AD carries that can challenge Kaisa in the bot lane right now, just because of how much presence Kaisa has on the team.
But yeah.
And it looks like we have the Ashe. I like this pick into Kaisa, despite it being quite a bit weaker than the Kaisa. The Ashe does have a lot of options to keep the Kaisa from getting on top of her with the ultimate and the constant slows.
Exactly. I mean, that Crystal Arrow is just so key for these dive-heavy champions, right? They get in your face, you press your R, and you walk away. And that's something that really needs to be held on tight when, you know, Kaisa has her R up. So hopefully Juanito Sol can hold onto that R as long as possible until needed. But we are going to see the second pick here for the Vipers coming through in just a few short seconds here. This timer is ticking away on us now. So that is...
Yeah, I believe that's the third time they've gone over the 40 seconds. Fliptrick did confirm that it is 40 seconds to split. I'm not sure on the rules on that, but I do believe it is a loss of a ban.
I think it is I'm pretty sure it is. I don't know if it's in this game or if it'll be their next game, which would be next week. So if the captains of the Tigers do decide to call the Vipers out on it, then that ruling will go through. But it really comes down to these teams. So hopefully we're all following rules. It doesn't mean we can get a little lenient here and just be like,
And going back to the picks here, we have the Rammus picked up for Asobi Spirit. Really good champion to deal with this Kaisa here. Kaisa tries to ult in backline. Rammus just says hello or okay and then taunts her.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a nice big tanky pick here. But the Tigers pick themselves up that Maokai. Don't know if he's going into the top lane yet for Darwin Theory, but no, that will confirm it. Actually, that's going to be a Maokai support locked in here for Jay Dysick down in the bot lane. As the Ornn comes through as well too, unless something crazy like Ornn mid. I can't see that happening. Dallas isn't in this game, so
True, true.
I don't think anyone else is brave enough to
There
do
has
it.
been some rumblings on the eastern hemisphere of the Maokai jungle. I don't know if that is going to come in today, but that is also an option.
That could potentially be an option here, but the support Maokai is just so annoying. It is so annoying because you toss your saplings in. If you do decide to go Sork Boots first, the poke from them is actually insane. It disables half of the lane for the enemy team, and on top of it, if they do end up getting close to one of the saplings, they're going to be losing anywhere from a sliver to a quarter of their health every single time.
Yeah, and as soon as the Maokai finishes Imperial Mandate, every time one of those saplings land on you, it's a free Imperial Mandate proc for no trade, for no option to trade against the Maokai. Something that I do like from Vipers, though, is they go ahead and pick up the Mordekaiser, and as we're all well aware, Ornn into Mordekaiser is not a very fun lane for the Ornn at all.
Another few solid bans coming out of both teams here. Lilia, Echo, Leona, Victor gone, but Seraphine still on the board here, and that will be the first time we actually get to see a Seraphine in the league.
Yeah, and I've been subject to the Seraphine. This could go mid or support. I expect it to be a support because Seraphine support, the amount of poke that you can put onto the enemy team is probably equal to or greater than what Maokai can put down as well. Just because of how long her poke's range is and how difficult it is to actually dodge it if you're not don't have vision of her.
Well, might not be a Mao jungle now that we see the Shyvana locked in here on the side of the Tigers. Excuse me. But my goodness, these teams are looking tanky and they're looking strong.
Yeah, it looks like they're just all protect Kaisa. Kaisa will carry us. Kaisa is our Lord and Savior for the side of Tigers.
As oh. Now, what do you prefer, Yone or Yone?
I don't care. I don't like the champion.
That's fair. I go with Yone. But that is a strong champ to be locking in here. Gonna go into the mid lane for Sire. What do we say? Yasuo 2.0, but a little bit crazier?
I mean, yeah, this does free up the Shyvana. The Shyvana now has to go for a less tankier build and go for more of a heavy AP build. Otherwise, they just have no AP threat besides, I guess, the Maokai's saplings. And the Ornn has base health, not magic damage. So really, they're kind of railroading themselves right now. With the amount of damage or with the sources of damage they can do, and if this Lucian is locked in, I don't like Lucian into Yone, honestly. He has the early game, but once those sixes hit, I don't think yet Lucian wins that game matchup anymore.
Yeah, gonna be scary to see what these two teams bring, but we are gonna see where these champions are gonna end up very shortly. So let's flip on over here to the client as we see where these champions are actually going to be locked in for this game. But honestly, this Tigers team is looking really strong here with that Yone locked in.
Yeah, if I saw these two teams in a solo queue game, there's one team that I would dodge and not play that game, and that is the Tigers team.
Well, unfortunately, dodging is not an option at this point for the Vipers, but they still have a strong team. I mean, Lucian is another one of those really strong picks with the Kraken Slayer, but I believe so is Kaisa. If it is, correct me if I'm wrong, you go Kraken on Kaisa, yeah?
I think it's rather situational. You can go Kraken and yeah, your damage will increase, but in matches where you need to be a bit more mobile, the Gale Force is the optimal choice and is usually the primary choice for most of the AD carries in pro play right now.
Well, we'll have to see if they've been watching a lot of these pro players right now, but it's looking like there is a lot of good engage here. That Maokai ult, Ornn ult, and Shyvana going in really ham. Not to mention the fact that you have a Yone, which can kind of kill you from half a view distance away on your map. So it's a little crazy to be dealing with this kind of long range engage that the Tigers are going to be bringing to this board.
I mean, how do you get away from if Yon managed to get a 2 or 3 person ulti off and Ornn's already ulting behind them, you have no chance getting away. You're getting knocked up twice. Shyvana's diving in on you, knocking you up again. And all of this Kai'Sa can ult onto. Every single one of these champions has a way for Kai'Sa to get into the fight.
Yeah, this is honestly just setting up Caramel for success right now, especially as the game goes on. His damage gets scarier and scarier and scarier. So I'm very curious to see what the Vipers are going to do about this Tiger squad that is now coming together. Because, you know, even in last game, while we saw a lot of answers for what the Lions are bringing out, it really comes down to how these teams are playing this game. I know it sounds very basic, but, you know, in terms of making those rotations, getting that early vision set up to get all the information on an enemy jungler as you possibly can, and really picking these fights very wisely. You got to be smart when you're popping your ults and when you're using that Ashe arrow, or else it's just gonna spell doom here for the Vipers.
Yeah, definitely. Now, once again, we do have options on the side of Vipers to combat this heavy AD comp that the side of Tigers have brought out. We have the hyper damage from the Kai'Sa, but you're not really going to see all that much unless she goes for like a third or a fourth or fifth item Zhonya's to evolve the W. And then you have the Shyvana, but on the side of Vipers, they have Rammus, which is arguably the best anti-AD champion in the game. All he does is say, okay, rolls at you, taunts you, and makes you deal more damage than you can do to him. And Kai'Sa and Yon, the primary carries for this team, are, guess what, primarily AD.
Mm-hmm. This is true. This is true. They're going to have to deal with a very, very tanky turtle. I just realized, though, it is going to be Lucian mid. Before I get to that point, though, just a reminder, predictions are open right now. So use Command Play TGR to vote for the Tigers, or Command Play VPR to put your tokens onto the Vipers. But guys, another big one coming here. I just, like I was saying, just noticed it was the Lucian mid, not Seraphine mid. So that is a very annoying lane to deal with in the bot lane from either sides. I mean, lots of poke coming out of Ashe and Seraphine, but they are going to have half their lane disabled from these saplings. It just, you'll see. Because if you think you can play in the bushes, well, you're going to take a ton of damage. And then the Maokai will jump on you, and Kai'Sa will ult on top of that. It becomes very, very dangerous to be taking a lot of chip damage. And Ashe and Seraphine, both very, very squishy. So, got to be playing it safe during this, especially during this early stage of the game.
Yeah, on the other side, though, the Ashe and Seraphine, the amount of poke that they can put out just because Maokai is melee, yeah, he can throw the saplings out as much as he wants, but the amount of poke that Ashe and Seraphine have is going to outdo the amount of poke that just Maokai can get off by himself. And it can possibly hit both the Kai'Sa and the Maokai, making any trades that they try to do after that possibly unfavorable for the side of Tigers. In the top lane, we've already been over that. Mordekaiser makes Ornn feel bad about his life decisions. I don't know the Rammus Shyvana matchup. I actually don't see these two champions in the same game very often, so that's going to be an interesting matchup. And I do believe the Lucian pretty much beats anybody in the early game in the mid lane, but once 6 hits, I think Yon is going to start popping off more and more. And it'll be harder for the Lucian to deal with just because he can get those free trades off and then dash back to his body without taking much poke in return besides the Lucian dash, queuing, and getting those double shots off. I'm pretty sure the Lucian's going to go press the attack, which will help out with these trades. But the later this game goes, the more that Yon's going to heal. I expect the Conqueror from him, and it's going to be even until level 6, and when the Yon can all in the Lucian either dashes out of the way, or if his dash is down, I think he just dies from it.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm really excited to see that mid lane matchup, right? Does the Lucian take the press attack, take a Kraken Slayer to get that true damage off? And does he have to build in early Executioners as well, too, to deal with this Yon healing up all that damage? So Definitely things that Vipers are considering right now as they are currently in the game, but we are going to be getting in about 10 seconds now. So guys, we're going to take a very short break, but when we come back, we'll be getting into game 2 of the night. Tigers facing off against the Vipers. We'll see you back here real soon. Don't go anywhere because you're not going to want to miss this.
I saw you smile from across the bar. Yeah, she was pretty and so close but so far. She flipped her hair and I thought this can't be true. How does a man like me get someone like you? And then she looked at me and I was confused. Everyone here can't be the one that she'll choose. And I looked back and saw the spark in her eyes. This can't be real, my head's telling me lies. The night is young and I think this could go far. The sky is dark but you're my shooting star. Could see your face reflect upon the moon. It was a pretty summer night in June. And then she looked at me and I was confused. Everyone here can't be the one that she'll choose. And I looked back and saw the spark in her eyes. This can't be real, my head's telling me lies. Just like that, you're coming closer to me. Come shake me, grab me, so I wake up from this dream. I can't breathe, come with me. I don't know if I can speak. Then she said, come with me and let's be free.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to week 1 of the LRS draft. This is our second game of the night, going to be Tigers taking on the Vipers, and we got, again, a couple of strong teams and a handful of very strong champs that have made their way onto the Rift this game. Going to be a spicy one, I think.
Yeah, I'm always going to enjoy the look of Yone over the Yasuo, just because they're like, let's bring Yasuo's brother in here, but let's give him 2 swords instead of 1. What is with these pings?
I think Pursuit of Death warded the bush. I think that's really it. Maybe just preparing for an early invade, but that's why we see, even look at this. Right off the bat, Dysik has started putting the saplings in this tri-bush over the wall, expecting, well, is going to find the Seraphine right away, but this is this early harass with these saplings already, and we're not even to the laning phase yet.
Yeah, I think that's what that ping is on the bot side of the map. There's a sapling in that tri-bush there, and Seraphine's taking the long way around to avoid it.
Yeah, and rightfully so, because they hurt a lot, and there was 2 of them waiting right now. But yeah, that just shows you how annoying the Maokai is. Pretty good support option right now if you are just looking to make your enemy laner's life hell.
Yep. And let's go ahead and talk about the runes here. There's one rune in particular that I want to bring everybody's attention to, and that is the Seraphine in the bot lane. We talked about how much poke the Maokai has, as you see him throw a sapling there. The Seraphine has decided to go Guardian to kind of mitigate the amount of poke that the Maokai can dish out, while the Seraphine just gets the free poke off. And there it goes. It's procced now, so now they're going to be taking a little bit more damage as long as they can avoid it, though. This Ashe and Seraphine are going to have a pretty good time. And look, there's the poke onto the Kai'Sa there, and surprisingly, the Kai'Sa and Maokai can't step up to this wave, and they're just starting to already fall behind in EXP.
Yep, really well played so far. We are going to see some trading going on between Darwin Theory and Rovereye in the top lane. Both lose a good chunk of their health bar, but Darwin is sitting on the better end of that trade.
Ooh.
As more harass in this bot lane, that Guardian will be back up relatively soon, but again, you gotta pick your battles here. Rovereye taking a ton of damage from Darwin, pulled back in, but will dash on out. That is a lot of damage exchange and a lot of health to be missing from those health bars.
Yeah, and you look at Kai'Sa's already had to burn her potion, and oh man, this poke is disgusting from the Ashe Seraphine.
Yeah, and I mean that's one, I guess, counterpoint to dealing with a lane like this, where you know there's going to be an Maokai in your face the entire time, is why don't we just poke them out of lane? So it seems to be working out really, really well for Juanito and for Toga. As, ooh, little flash in the mid lane there. Sire's looking to go in. The Ignites are ticking down on both these mid laners, but Pursuit of Death is on the pursuit right now. Oh, almost one auto will do it, but he's taking damage from that turret shot. Gets down under 80 health there, but will manage to survive for now. More trading on the bot side. Caramel taking a bit of poke there from the Seraphine. And now we are going to just breathe for 2 seconds as all that kind of quiets down for a second. Oh, look at this! Rouge Ronin almost able to find Pursuit of Death. Burns his flash, but not quite able to finish him off. As
yeah, I was hoping to catch him sleeping under the turret there, looking at his shop, and luckily the Lucian was paying attention to what he was doing on the map and does not give up a kill there. And now it is 2 flashes down for the side of Tigers.
Yep. We're kind of taking things easy at this point. There is going to be a Cloud Drake on the map in 30 seconds. As Rovereye, again, going absolutely ham on Darwin. Again, showing us how aggressive of a player he really is. So, you did talk about this matchup before coming in, and it's looking to get harder and harder as the time passes here for Darwin to deal with the damage coming. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you said he first it said Rovereye?
Rovereye, yes.
Rovereye.
Oh,
Rovereye.
He actually gets another pull in and burns the flash from Darwin. Ornn doesn't have any mana left here, so I think he's just going to have to back and reset.
Yeah, and that's not something you want to do as Ornn, because you have the Forge, where you can just buy your items in lane, but if you're not getting the CS and you can't really stay in the lane, especially with no mana, you have to get out of there, otherwise Mordekaiser will just kill you.
Yep, and just a reminder, the the predictions do close once we get into game, as might be a little bit unfair to bet on teams as this game's already 5.5 minutes in. So just a reminder to stay tuned before the game if you want to get those predictions in. But right now, while there are no kills picked up yet, there's some nice harass coming out of the Vipers right now on really all fronts of these lanes. The Sire's looking to go in on Pursuit of Death once more, giving some nice trades up before he gets ripped back to his soul there. It's crazy how much distance that Yon can really cover when he gets going. As Rovereye trading back again with Darwin Theory. Rovereye going to be taking quite a bit of a chunk of damage there. Getting a little low here. Sire is quite low as well too. Pursuit of Death. One more auto will do it, but he doesn't have his flash to get in there and finish off Sire. Oh.
Yeah, he used his dash to get out of the ultimate from the Yone there, so Yone gets to survive that just barely with, I believe that was 7 HP left.
That's one of those ones where you just gotta